Welcome to lesson 2.10, a mental division strategy. The previous lessons we have worked on multiplication and you doing US traditional with multi-digits times 1 and 2 digits times 2 digit or 2 digits times multiple digits. Today we're going to be able to use the relationship between multiplication and division to mentally divide multi-digit numbers. We're going to be able to perform operations with multi-digit whole numbers and with decimals to the hundredths. And we're going to be able to understand the place value system. That's an objective that we've been working on for quite a while now, and we will continue working on. So before we move on, let's look at some vocabulary words that will help us through this process. First word is dividend. So we have dividend and we have divisor. And dividend is the number in division that is being divided. So, for example, you have 35 divided by 5 equals 7. 35 is the number that is being divided into different pieces, so that's our dividend. The 5, on the other hand, is the divisor. That's the number that is doing the dividing. It's dividing into 5 groups for this example. So 35 is the dividend, 5 is the divisor. And a multiple of a number n. So it's a product of n, or also a counting number. For example, the multiples of 7 are 7, 14, 21, 28, and so on. You can take this as 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21, 7 times 4 is 28. You can also think of it as 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 7 more is 21, plus 7 more is 28. So if we were to continue this pattern with these multiples of 7, our next one would be 35, because we know that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one would be 7 times 5, which is 35. Oops. And our last, no, I think we actually have 2 more words. We've got remainder. That is an amount left over when one number is divided by another number. For example, if we took 38 books divided into 5 equal piles, we know that there would be 7 books per pile, but we would have 3 books left over if we wanted equal piles. So we might write it as 38 divided by 5 equals 7R3, where that R3 stands for the remainder. So 7, remainder 3. And this is our last. We've got the word quotient. So quotient is the answer or the result of dividing one number by another. So going back to that problem of 35 divided by 5, we know we're taking 35 and dividing it into 5 groups. Well, our quotient or our answer for 35 divided by 5 is 7. And here are 3 different ways showing how to do that. We've got the one we've just been talking about. You can always write a slash, that fraction bar, that represents dividing. That's a division sign. You can write it doing the 2 dots above and below the line, 40 divided by 8. So 40 would be the dividend divided into 8 pieces, the divisor with a quotient of 5. And then you can also write it like this. So we got 36 divided by 12 equals 3. So 36 is the dividend in this one. The divisor is 12, and the answer or the quotient is 3. So in the student reference book on page 106, we have this extended division facts. Extended division facts, and we're going to use extended division facts when we combine basic division facts and multiples of 10. So one way to find answers to extended division facts is to relate the problem to our basic facts and to multiplication of powers of 10. Here is an example for you. 240 divided by 4. Well, you can ignore that 0 with those powers of 10, and you can think about 24 divided by 4. We can do that one easily because we can know 4 times what is 24? 4 times 6. So 24 divided by 4 equals 6. Then you go back to your original problem of 240 divided by 4, and you see that 240 is 10 times as much. So 240 divided by 4 equals 10 times 6, or 60. So 240 divided by 4 equals 60. There we go. Continuing looking at that from page 106, you can also use the relationship between multiplication and division to solve those extended facts, especially when those numbers are large. Okay, so here is an example of large numbers. 45,000 divided by 900. We normally would look at that and think, I can't do that, but you can. You can rewrite it. You can think of the as missing factor multiplication number sentence. You can think of this as 45 divided by 9, and you can see that over here in this section. Right here, 45 divided by 9 equals 5. We know that already. And then if we take a look, and we've got 1, 2, 3 zeros here, 2 zeros over here. So as you're looking through this, you can fill in the missing factor for the multiplication number sentences. Write a related division problem. So 45,000 divided by 900. The answer is 50. We can get to that by doing this. 45 divided by 9 is 5. 5 times 900 is 4,500. So it's too small. You want 45,000. So you need a number that is 10 times as much as 5. So we could do 50 times 900 is 45,000. That works. So since 50 times 900 is 45,000, 45,000 divided by 900 would be 50. Okay? Another thing that you can look at is that there are 3 zeros in 45,000 and 2 zeros in 900. If we cross out the 2 zeros from this and we cross out 2 zeros from this one, we're left with 1 0 left over. So when you're looking at the 45 divided by 9, we know that when we do our actual problem, we just need to add 1 more 0 to the answer to get our 50. Okay, both methods work with that and help you as you move on. What? There we go. Let me clear our board here. There we go. So at the bottom of 106, they do have more examples for you to try. You've got 27,000 divided by 900, 4,800 divided by 60, 4,000 times 200, and 3,000 divided by 60. And there is an answer key in the SRB. So this would be a great opportunity that if you want to check your understanding, to pause the video, try this, and then look at the SRB online and check your answers with that. So moving forward with the mental division strategy, in a division problem, the number being divided, again, is called the dividend, and the number that divides the dividend is called the divisor, and that answer is called a quotient. That's just a refresher for us. When we are thinking about multiplication, multiplication can be used to reason through and check your division. So just like when we did our multiplication practice, we used estimation to make sure that we were reasonable. We used different strategies to check if we are reasonable. So when we're doing something like 630 divided by 7, we can then check our answer with multiplication. And that should have went for me, but it's not working, so we'll move on. So 630 divided by 7, I can look at this and think of 63 divided by 7, which I know would be 9, because I know 9 times 7 is 63. So I can see that I need to add 1 0 to the answer. So 630 divided by 7, I know is going to be 90. Well, I can check that with multiplication. So I'm going to take 90 times 7 and check my answer. I should get 630. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite it vertically because that's the way we've been practicing. And I know 7 times 0 is 0, and 9 times 7 is 63, and I get 630. So did my answer of 90 check out? Yes, and I checked it with multiplication. We're going to skip through this slide. So we're going to learn a mental division strategy in which we use those basic and extended facts to solve larger division problems. Here's an example of the way that we're eventually going to get to. We got 965 divided by 5. So you can take a look at that strategy, but we're going to use the mental division strategy today. Remember, multiples are products of a given number and a counting number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. What are some multiples of 30? Remember from our example in the beginning. Well, we know if our multiples of 30, we would start with 30, and that would represent 30 times 1. If we moved over to the next one, we would be 30 times 2, which would be 60. Our next one, 90. What would be the next one? What would be our fourth multiple of 30? 120. Okay, and we would keep going. You see they go up by 30 each time. So in the activity that you would be doing, you're going to choose 3 cards from a deck that contains numbers 0 through 9. So when you're doing this at home, if you do not obviously have everyday math cards, you can look for a deck of cards at home, like a deck of playing cards, or you can make your own using a piece of paper and writing the digits 0 through 9 and using those and mixing them up and drawing from your homemade cards. Okay, so we drew 3 cards and we got 9, 3, and 4, and so we would check doing the mental division with this, practicing with these made up numbers with the cards. So looking at this, we want to know what are the multiples of 4 in order to figure out 93 divided by 4. So you can see I've listed out the multiples for all the way up to 92, because I know if I go any further, it's going to get me up to 96, or yes, 96, and that'd be too big. So we could say, what are the multiples of 4 less than 3? We've got all these listed. What we want to do then is to count and see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So I know that 4 can go into 93 23 times, and we have 1 left over because we would want to get to 93. Well, that keeps getting in my way. There we go. So what would we need? Like we just said, we would just need to add 1. So there's different ways that we can come up with the answer to this. We can look at this and say, all right, well, I know that I can do 4 times 10. 4 times 10. And I'm going to put that in parentheses. Plus, we want to get to the 92, so we're only at 40. So we'd have to think then. So 40, I need to get up to 93. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 4 times 13. But if I do 4 times 10 again, that gives me 80. And then I would do plus 4 times 3. Put that in parentheses, and then add 1 more. Pause the video here and try to come up with some other names for 93 using these multiples, and we'll check together.